moving to the next song. The next song is Credit Roll.
Yu.
And I know this from Uyu, which means milk.
But Yu is the emoji for crying.
Yes, it is. And I've got something for you on this too that might blow your mind.
All right, you go first this time. Go for it.
Okay. So, lyrically, when the credits roll, will you hang tight? Look at the credits of things. When you see everything, all the people that involved, are you still going to be here? I've laid it out on the table now. Are you still going to be here? Because I've been my most realist. And I wrote down, okay, now that I said all that, are you still down? Are you still down to roll with me? And even if you're not, thank you for coming. I hope you enjoyed. it.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter if you liked it or if you, it kind of goes back to, what was it? Something that you said about, was it an interlude? It was an interlude with the laughter at the end. With that, thank you if you enjoyed it, and thank you if you didn't. You know,
remember back in the day when to say, even if you hate me, publicity is like, a hit's a hit. If you call to tell me you hate me, I. If you call to tell me you love me, also I.
Yep. And same with Domodachi. Have that line from Little Sims saying, "You know my name, but you don't know me." And that kind of goes back to stuff that RM has said, Namjoon has said before,
and Yoongi as well. Honestly, they've all said it. Even my bias has said it. For all those who hate me, so what?
Here's the thing that I might be on a complete island about, but it just kind of stood out to me. Credit roll. You're watching credits roll. We're watching the credits roll. Like, and it's scrolling up.
Maybe you think of curtains at the theaters.
Looks like something is unrolling. And then I looked up, because I remember from my initial Hangul classes that characters this way mean earth, characters this mean neutral, and then the sun or the heavens. Human, I thought it was human, but neutral. So you have the earth neutral, like I'm neutral about it. I am neutral about whether you liked it or not. Thank you.
I love that. I love that little moment of potential lore. I do like that. That's cool. For me,
like I said, it might have been out of left field, but when I looked at it,
it could still be left field. But you know what? I'm living for that interpretation. I kind of like it. Like, it does not offend me. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
Cool. It's kind of cool.
And I did research. I was like, oh,
look at you. I remember the Yu crying, the sign for crying.
Yeah.
And so there was a few things that happened there, right? If you take that as just like as the standard, text
crying emoji
crying, of then he's crying. Is it a plea? Is it I'm hurt that you're not? Is it I'm happy that you are? It's the question. When the credits roll, do you hang tight? Or do you just go out to your life? I mean, to go out to live, to live. Literally to like the live version, to IRL. Like, do you sit there with it and watch everything that happened? Do you stay for the last cameo thing that happens in the credits to make you stay? Or are you actually going to stay and honor all the people and all the time and all the effort and all the work? Are you going to honor that? Are you going to stay until the curtains drop on this shit? Are you still here after military? Are you still here after this album? This sounds so different. Did you hang tight? For a man who was so terrified, all of them were, that we would not be here after military service. For a man who broke down in tears at Festa 2022 and broke everyone's heart, and let them film that and put it on Bangtan's internet, put it out there in the world with all the sad tears, are we still here? And I think enough of us are here for who they become next, because they're people, not robots. And so there's more growth. He wrote this before he went into the military. He's going to come out a whole new world. There's a whole new person coming out that door. And the environment that he walked away from is not the environment he's coming back into.
Right.
He is not with any of his brothers.
Sorry to interject, but it kind of makes me also glad that maybe he had the wherewithal, or the people around him that helped him with his music. Like, you need to spend some time away before you
Yeah.
spend some time away.
Yes. He needed to get right with himself before he could go and do something like crazy, scary, hard.
Right. Like, you're going to be alone for a while. Are you ready to just boom, be alone? Or let's ease you into that being alone?
I don't
I don't
know
know.
if it was the easing into, but certainly the processing of the crap, going
Mm-hmm.
in the emotional mental state that he was in. If you were paying any kind of attention, you could see that man was hurting.
Mm-hmm.
And I think putting this album out, creating this album, I think was a nice, healthy way to explore the hardships that he had not revealed to us,
Mm-hmm.
and that he had not dealt with for
Yeah.
himself. And
Yeah.
so he got to be real for himself and be more grounded going into the
Mm-hmm.
military. And he went
Yep.
alone, so he's still not, RM and BTS.
I don't know if it was the conversations with you, but and someone actually had posted this on Twitter about when they came into Army, that understanding the inevitability of them going into the military.
Mm-hmm.
And they felt bad for other people who had been so invested. Like, they didn't have that much of a sting of
Right.
them going into the military as
As
other
some of
people
us.
did, as long as you've been a fan and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were like, I'm glad that it still hurts, and it's still, it's still
But
uncomfortable,
it wasn't
but
wasn't devastating.
it wasn't as devastating.
Yeah.
Exactly. Especially for, but there is still a level of devastation, because honestly too, with me, that's kind of how I came in 2019. It was,
Listen.
we're getting one last tour and then they're going into the military, and I'm like, all right.
And then the concerts were dropped. The rage. So we have roved far from the topic. Hold on a second. Let's back up. So you.
Yes, you.
Spoken word is asking a question, it's distancing, it's sheltered. It reminds me of when you just learn music and you're singing, you're just playing whole notes.
Oh yeah.
Not whole notes, quarter notes.
Yes.
Because that's all you can do right now, right? When you're just learning.
As a person who took piano and studied piano, yep.
Remember those first notes?
Yep.
And so it sounds very
Yep.
staccato. It's very quarter notes. But it's also,
it's very stripped down.
It's very stripped down. It's very monotone, and that Yu is crying. So you're asking the question, you're throttling back your emotions. Like, so much is happening in my head when I'm listening to the song, knowing all of these little details, right? I hear this, it sounds like I'm just learning music. So it's really stripped down. When we first talked about it, I said, this is the song where it sounded more tender.
Yes.
This is the place where, even, no matter how monotone it is, no matter how it is when you first come into it, because it does fill out later, it feels more tremulous. He's asking us, will we stay? Will you hang tight now after all of these things?
Well, and you as Army, thank you. I hope you had a great time. You as all those trifling mofos, thank you. I hope you got it. Like, you and you.
Yeah, you and you. There's so much going on there. And
it would be simple song. It's very complex.
It feels more like poetry. It's one of those moments where the poetry chops of this man pops up and be like, I'm going to give you the tiniest little phrase.
As I have been experienced to more, not just Korean entertainment, but entertainment worldly in general, and coming from my own understanding as a Westerner, pop culture consumer.
Right. Yeah.
First of all that pressure from the industry to say, you need to do it, you need to do it, you need to be relevant, you need to, and you can fizzle out, and everybody's talking in your ear about that. And we know he got talked to a lot in his ear when he was in Vegas. And so you have all these people, like, you got to stay hot, you got to stay relevant, or otherwise you're going to lose everything. And then you think about the processes of Korean entertainers of K-pop. And again, we're not talking bad about it.
And we're not saying this particular album is K-pop.
Yeah. But getting more exposed to, for lack of a better term, the cycle that everybody knows exists
in the Korean music industry.
Yeah. And just in the popular music industry in general, that for the longest time, I did not understand why they have asked us, are you going to stay? Will you still be here with me? And I never understood that fear until
gotta be
now.
It's gotta be like, it's gotta be traumatizing.
And I was like, why would you ever ask if I'm going to stay? Of course I'm going to stay.
But you know what? They don't have the Western view.
But I do get it now. And being young, worried about those things, I understand it a little bit more. And side note, let's talk about the fact that that man wants to just line everybody up. Didn't we already talk about?
Yeah, and give us
just
hugs.
give warm hugs. Like, you just wanted to gentle hugs or a handshake, to know that we are still corporeal.
He needs to reaffirm that we waited, that we are in fact here. Because
this is a person in front of me.
I can't imagine coming out of the military after all the work that he's done, and he's going to come out with his round cheeks and his extra broad shoulders and his fuzzy little hairs, and he's going to go from that, catch himself a shower, throw on some new clothes because the ones he had before won't fit, and come meet Army.
Yep.
Like, how much does this man love us? Like I wonder to myself, like, I hope it's not just for us. I want it to be for him too. I want him to be doing it because he needs to touch us, to reaffirm his connection to us because he's been away and he's missed us and he wants to make sure we're real. I don't want him to be doing it because he needs to do that to make sure that we know he's real. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I want it
to be because he needs to come see us, not because we need to see him.
Well, and I think
because that man could just do a Weaver's Live and we'd be fine, and he could do that from his bed.
I think that because of who they are and where they got to grow up and the environment that they got to be in, including all of the trials and tribulations, I do think that Jin was the one that was like, I'd really love to like do a fan meet again where we actually, touch our fans
and look at them and talk
look at them. And because I don't want to hear about the bullshit about why not. I want a team. I want all these people we're giving credit to get that for me, and that team wants to do that for you. That it's not just they're doing it for like, the reason why I go down this path, like if I were to be on such a team to have such extraordinary results, every person in that team would be the person that helps us get those extraordinary results. Mm-hmm. From the person who changed the waste paper baskets to the one that lines up the water bottles for them. Mm-hmm. Every single person in this team wants me to succeed. Mm-hmm. Because I want that, like I just feel that there's
symbiotic relationship.
That, and we hear people talk about the those people though, they do work there and they do want those things, right? I'm gonna put the inherent good into people, right? Mm-hmm. We know that there's been shit that happens. We know that there's been missteps. Who cares? But overall, the 90%, because it works so well and it's genuine, I can safely say Jin was the one who was like, I'm coming back to hug everybody. And they're like, all right, let's try to do it. There is compromise.
Notice the message is like, let's have a safe visit, y'all.
Yeah. People get all upset about, it's only for this. They have to try to see if these things are going to work before they expand it or before they offer it more. They have to try. You have to try to see if this is going to work, because it might not work. It might work.
And honestly, even if it's only for Korea, I'm not
happy.
I'm happy. The man needs to go home. The man needs to be at home. Leave the man alone.
And that's what I thought after the pandemic, because you talked about, going into the military and coming out to we had the pandemic where we just all held our breath because we didn't know.
Yeah.
We had no idea when we were going to see each other again.
How is this man coming out in 10 days? I feel like I missed a lot.
Right.
Just like I was so panicked a second ago, and now I'm like, oh, damn, I have not learned nearly enough Korean.
Right. I'm trying to catch up on my RM BTS episodes, I'm only on 126. Actually, I think I'm on 128.
You're better than me. I think I'm on 5. So there you go.
So, but yeah, that pandemic was so uncertain. Mm-hmm. But this time is certain. There's a different level of uncertainty when it
Yes.
comes to conflict and why the reason for these military services is required. So there's a different, fear, if you will, but there's an end date.
Yes, there is an end date. If you're one of those people who has like anxiety about them coming back and realizing, fuck this shit, I'm done. I do have that does twirl in the back of my head every so often.
I think it twirls in everybody's head, honestly.
But
why we want to say, I want to feel, whatever you do after you come back is great. And I want to support you. And even if you don't do music anymore,
I want to watch you act. I want to watch you have kids.
I want to watch you make your alcohol. And, we do inherently want those things for them.
Like, honestly, Sunlook Nim, their dance coach from way back yonder, he is here in the States. He's living in California now, under Hype America. Right? I still follow him on Instagram.
Yeah. He posted a thing at the Hype at Monochrome.
Yeah, just
with his daughter, and I miss you guys.
And I'm just
that genuineness
Yeah.
that you hear from inside and outside.
Yep.
You can't fake that for as long as they've been in the game. That's the key. Why BTS? Genuine. That's what my podcast is about.
Connecting life in BTS and living the thing. Look at you go. You awesome sauce.